Sewing with many hats. It was my pastor, Ted Seago, who first introduced me to the idea of hats being like the roles that we play. So this is dedicated to him. Roles and priorities. When you think of the roles that you play, it can often change from day to day or week to week, sometimes several times a day. How do we prioritize our days when we wear so many different hats? We are mothers, wives, daughters, friends, employees, citizens, volunteers, aunts, sisters, etc. By focusing more on relationships than on to-do lists, we're telling the people around us that they are the most important thing to us because our actions will show it. The weekly compass. The weekly compass is what Stephen Covey writes about in his book, First Things First. It's a method I've been using for about 7 years now, and they look like this. In order to help keep me focused on a weekly basis, a compass gives your life direction and focus. It's different than the clock, which tracks the time and the things we do within that time frame. My weekly compass helps me keep in focus the most important assets in life: faith, family, and friendships. The weekly compass works like this. Every weekend, sometimes between late Friday afternoon and Sunday evening, I schedule a meeting with me. My family knows that when they see me pick up my red zipper daytimer planner, that I'm off to Starbucks for a couple of hours to set my compass for the following week. Sharpen your saw. The principle of sharpening the saw comes right out of Scripture. Ecclesiastes 10:10 says, "If the axe is dull and its edge unsharpened, more strength is needed, but with skill will bring success." The idea is that if we're not growing as a person and continually working on areas of our lives to improve, we're not able to give our best to others. If our cup is continually empty, then we won't have anything to give to others. In order to sharpen your own saw, pick one thing you will do this week to improve your life in the areas of physical, social and emotional, mental, and spiritual. For instance, on my weekly compass, on my sharpening my saw, in the area of physical, I may say, work out 3 times this week. Write it down. For social emotional, I may say, schedule time alone. Or I may say, go to have coffee with a friend, because that helps me emotionally. For mental, I might write down, finish 3 chapters from the current book I'm reading. And for spiritual, I may say, memorize Colossians chapter 2. Write it down. Now, after you've identified those areas, then you need to write down 7 roles or hats that you will wear this week. The hats may change from week to week, but it's recommended that you don't try to put on more than 7 in one week so you can focus. So, for instance, my roles for this week would be, I'm a wife, I'm a mom, a teacher, a writer, a friend, a daughter, and an entrepreneur. So the next step is for me to look at each role and ask myself one question. What's the most important thing I can do in this role for this week? Pick one thing and write it down. Not 3 or 4, just one. This is what Stephen Covey calls your big rocks. If you are filling up a jar with large rocks and small rocks, and you put all the small rocks into your jar first, you will not be able to fit the large rocks in. Your one thing you wrote down is your big rock. Put those into your jar first, then all the little rocks will fit into their place. If you are intentional about adding value into the lives of others, then all the thousands of to-dos will fall into place as needed. Those are your little rocks. You see, relationships are the most important things in life, with God and with others. So take some time to write out your own weekly compass. I would love to hear your results.